Part 1. Late one humid evening in a quiet American town, the unthinkable unfolded along a lonely stretch of highway. The lifeless body of a young girl, known only as Madison Reed, was discovered by a patrol officer who had never before witnessed such a scene. The finding sent shockwaves through the small community, where familiar faces were suddenly forced to reckon with a mystery that defied explanation. As the local police began their investigation, forensic experts were quick to detect an eerie clue: traces of salt water on the victim's skin that could not possibly belong to any ordinary body of fresh water in this inland region. It appeared that Madison had been drowned in seawater, a detail that left investigators both perplexed and alarmed. How could the brine of the ocean, so far removed from these backroads, find its way into the tragic demise of a child in this remote locale? The discovery raised unsettling questions, hinting at secrets hidden beneath a veneer of normalcy. Rumors began to ripple through the tight-knit community like an undercurrent, as whispers of an unusual pool where salt water was used started to circulate. Investigators learned that a local hotel, famed for its lavish recreational facilities, boasted a pool that employed saltwater filtration, a detail that raised more questions than answers. As the investigation advanced, attention naturally shifted toward other unusual sources of saltwater in the area. A peculiar parallel emerged that hinted at a broader, more intricate mystery lurking beneath the surface of everyday life. With every unexpected revelation, the case grew murkier, drawing seasoned detectives and local experts into a web of intrigue where nothing was quite as it seemed. Who had the power to orchestrate such an anomaly? And what other secrets lay hidden in the quiet corners of this seemingly tranquil region? Part 2. As the investigation deepened, whispers of a false trail began to emerge, suggesting that appearances were deceiving and that key evidence might have been manipulated to divert attention from the true mastermind behind the tragedy. At the heart of the mystery was a man known as Jason Clayton, a local entrepreneur with seemingly impeccable credentials. Investigators discovered that Jason's country estate, a sprawling property on the outskirts of town, housed a luxurious saltwater pool, much like the one at the high-end hotel. Rumors started circulating that this very pool had connections to a clandestine society known only to a select few. It wasn't long before conspiracy theories took root, pitting Jason's sanctuary of leisure against the chilling details of Madison Reed's drowning. Forensic experts meticulously collected samples, their findings linking the saline residue on the young victim's skin to the chemical composition unique to the saltwater maintained at the estate. This revelation only deepened the intrigue, as it hinted at a deliberate act, a misdirection intended to obscure the true nature of the crime. Further muddying the waters was the unexpected involvement of a trusted assistant from a prominent local firm, Beatrice Carter, who had once been Jason's right hand. Beatrice's sudden departure from the estate just days before the discovery of the body ignited suspicions that she might have been entangled in a secret far darker than anyone could have imagined. In hushed tones at late-night diners and over cups of bitter coffee at the county jail's visiting room, retired officers and seasoned detectives debated the possibility that Beatrice had forged the connection between Jason's pool and the case to shield someone even more powerful. As the investigation wound through layers of deception, even the subtle details began to speak. One such detail was a single outfit, a gray skirt suit with a matching gray collar, reminiscent of a uniform worn by a figure in local lore known as Rebecca Mason, a reclusive woman with an enigmatic past. This piece of evidence, seemingly mundane, resonated with chilling familiarity among those who had studied similar cases in decades past. The threads of the investigation entangled credible leads, speculative whispers, and the haunting trauma of a lost life, all converging onto a tableau of betrayal and hidden power. Each new discovery invited more questions than answers. Was the saltwater pool merely a part of an elaborate facade, or was it a clue, a frozen timestamp of a carefully planned crime? Every testimony, every forensic report, and every piece of seemingly innocuous evidence built a picture that defied conventional logic and beckoned the dark corners of human ambition. Amid the growing chaos, the citizens of this quiet American town clung to a desperate hope that the truth would eventually surface, even as their nightmares spun a web of conspiracy that threatened to engulf them all. Part 3. As the final pieces of the puzzle began to fall into place, the investigation ventured into a labyrinth of secrets and betrayals that defied every expectation. In the secluded corners of a once peaceful community, new evidence pointed toward an unexpected mastermind. A local figure known as Marcus Doyle, whose quiet exterior masked a cunning ingenuity that had orchestrated a series of elaborate diversions. Rumors once whispered behind closed doors now surfaced in the words of those who had spent countless sleepless nights piecing together contrived alibis and redacted phone records. In an overlooked office on the edge of town, retired detective David Larson meticulously connected clues that led him deeper into a covert underworld where every fact was wrapped in layers of deceit. As Larson re-examined old testimonies, he began to suspect that the saltwater, the very element that had become the signature of the crime, was more than a mere coincidence. It was a deliberate mark, a chilling hallmark left to confuse investigators and protect the true culprit. Amid this tangled web, a surprising eyewitness emerged. A local custodian from Marcus Doyle's estate recalled overhearing hushed conversations near the saltwater pool at peculiar hours. His recollections of whispered code words and furtive glances painted a vivid picture of secret meetings and undisclosed pacts that shimmered with shadowy intent. With every new revelation, the community's collective soul trembled at the possibility that the sanctuaries they trusted, be it the prestigious pool at the high-end hotel or the lavish retreat at Doyle's estate, might be nothing more than gilded facades concealing sinister realities. As details faded in and out of focus, the investigators found themselves grappling with a disconcerting truth. Nothing was as it seemed. Each testimony, each forensic report, and every murmur of regret and betrayal drew them closer to a climax where the distinction between truth and deception blurred into a dizzying haze. In that nerve-wracking moment, as evidence coalesced and yet evaded definitive explanation, one question loomed larger than any other. Was Madison Reed's tragic end a mere accident born of misfortune? Or was it the foreword to a darker, meticulously staged narrative powered by hidden desires for control and revenge? With the investigation now teetering on the edge of a breakthrough, every unresolved detail stoked an unsettling fear that even the most trusted figures might be complicit in an intricate dance of lies. The final pieces of evidence beckoned us to confront the uncomfortable possibility that our lives, woven with seemingly random events, are, in fact, part of a grander design of manipulation and deceit. And so, as you listen to this unraveling tale, ask yourself, in a world where every truth has its shadow and every secret its silent accomplice, can we ever truly discern who is pulling the strings behind the curtain?